Mr. Chairman, members, my name is James Quintero. I represent the Texas Public Policy Foundation, here to testify in favor of HB 1522. The bill before the committee today is a common sense transparency measure that seeks to ensure the public is well informed about spending matters. It is couched in the notion that knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and that a people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives. I actually think this bill is a perfect fit for this committee, as the quest for efficiency begins with transparency. I do want to offer a word of caution, however. I love the bill. It's an A, and I hope it proceeds from committee. One friendly recommendation that I hope maybe the bill author will consider is that some budgets are lacking. And what I mean is, if you look at the budget for the largest school district in Texas, you're looking at about a $2.5 billion enterprise. And yet, if you go to Houston ISD's budget on its website, you're provided with a single document, one page, $2.5 billion governmental entity. If the government under this law were to provide this information to the average person, dare I say that this would not sufficiently inform the public as to what is happening in that political subdivision. I think what would benefit the average person is to also require the government to provide some additional context. It's not enough for a one-page document to fully inform people. We need to see the decision-making documents and perhaps some other supplemental material like historicity. This document doesn't even tell me what was spent last year as it's compared to this year. I know I'm out of time, but I want to thank you and the bill author for considering this measure, and I hope that you'll look favorably on it. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Representative Curry.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. So am I hearing this correctly, that you think that there should be more language in this bill regarding that, or a separate bill? What are your thoughts on that?
Were I to recommend a friendly amendment, I would advise that some additional decision-making documents accompany the budget itself, so that the average person has a greater grasp on how the government intends to spend their money. And one other thing that I think is worth noting is that most local governmental entities adopt their budget before they adopt their tax rate. So it's really important that we get a strong grip on spending, because later on it's going to influence what that governing body must adopt in terms of a tax rate.
Okay, thank you. I just want a clarification.
Representative Bojani.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for your testimony. I wanted to ask you, as a former city council member, I remember our budgets being really thick books. How does this bill, or maybe Representative can answer, how does this bill envision having a physical copy posted with the notice if it's posted there?
It's a good question. So I have not seen the committee substitute. It's my understanding that perhaps it's transitioned to a digital copy.
Okay. Maybe a QR code, with that posting, may be able to help with the link to the entire budget so more people can see it.
And I think that also accommodates the what I see as a need for additional information to accompany the budget document, whether it be a one-page, or if you look at the second most populous school district, Dallas ISD, Dallas actually has a 590-page budget. And so I think transitioning to the electronic format is smart, not only for matters of efficiency, but also gives people the ability to search through a large document like that very quickly.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions? Representative Cook.
Just clarification, and obviously I can ask the author of this as well, but just from your understanding, if a council meeting is on Monday night at 5 o'clock, when must this notice be given?
So 3 business days prior. I believe that would be on the Wednesday before.
Okay. 9 a.m. meeting, change it at all? I mean, so you'd think it's just the date, correct? I mean,
that's my understanding.
Right. So Wednesday before a Monday meeting, is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Representative Troxclair.
James, do you remember when I worked to pass a taxpayer impact statement for the city of Austin?
It is one of the things that I point to the city of Austin as one of the best reforms they've achieved in the last several years. I actually encourage other cities and governmental entities to look to that as the standard by which to educate the public on what the burden of government is.
Yeah, and I just Googled it to see, you know, if they're still doing it, and they are. And the idea was that a layperson has a very difficult time understanding a complicated budget, and so it was a one-page summary of all the services and fees. So Austin Energy, Austin Water, resource recovery, community fee, transportation, drainage, total property tax bill, that included the change from last year to this year, not just in the tax rate, but also in the actual dollar amount change, right? Because there is, when you see 3 pennies per $100 valuation, nobody knows what that means. So and so the actual dollar change, it's so nice because you see property tax bill here. You see the change that was $188 increase from last year. And so I look forward to it's possible that I would love to follow up with the author about potentially adding a requirement that a one-page tax summary be implemented. Do you think that would be this would be an appropriate place to do that?
I think that's a fantastic idea, and one of the things that I'll put before the committee is the fact that perhaps as an unintended consequence of that 2019 reform whereby the legislature modernized its property tax revenue limit to install that 3.5%, what has increasingly happened is your political subdivisions have begun shifting their revenue needs. So they'll oftentimes max out that 3.5%, and then they'll shift to find monies elsewhere in the form of development fees, other money sources. And so a taxpayer impact statement like that lists out, here's your property tax burden last year, this year, and also here are all the related fees that a governing body imposes, I think would do a tremendous amount of good to educate people on where the money is potentially being drawn from.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions for the witness? Seeing none,